I used to be the girl that was driving down the highway, and mid-drive, I would feel my throat swell up. I would feel like I was going to pass out. I thought I was having a heart attack. Or other times, there was times in class, I was sitting there and I was just taking notes. I thought enjoying my time, and all of a sudden, I would have a hot flash come on. I would feel my throat swell up, and I thought I was having a heart attack. And for a long time, I was like, what is going on? And I couldn't figure it out. And I went to the ER. I went to multiple doctors, and everybody told me I was fine. And that was a feeling that felt horrible, because I was like, I'm clearly not fine. I feel like I'm going to die random times of the day. And something has to give. And so they were like, it's probably anxiety. To me, myself, I was like, there is literally no way that anxiety alone could cause me to feel this horrible. And turns out it was. And so I decided I had to change and do something about it. I was in college for 7.5 years. I went to undergrad, and then I also went to chiropractic school. I am a chiropractor. And through that entire college experience, I had a really hard time. I struggled a lot with anxiety and panic attacks. I even had a colonoscopy because my digestion was crazy whack. And so they wanted to make sure there was nothing going on inside my colon. And when I found out it was anxiety, I knew that something had to give. Because my options were stay the same, keep having panic attacks and feeling like I'm going to die, or fix it. And so I had learned to fix it. My turning point was one time I was sitting in a final exam in chiropractic school, and I'm sitting there taking the test, and all of a sudden I feel it come on. And in a final exam, you can't get up and go to the bathroom, which is what I typically would do to just go get some fresh air and breathe. You can't do that. As soon as you get up from your test is done. I just started the test. And so I had to tough it out the entire time. And I felt like my eyes were blacking out. I felt my heart racing. It felt awful. I left crying because I thought I failed the exam because I couldn't even see. Turns out I didn't fail the exam, but something had to give, something had to shift, because I knew that could not be my life anymore. So I started reading. I started reading books about the nervous system, and I was already learning it in school, but I wasn't practicing any of it. And I started learning more about panic attacks, and I learned more about people pleasing and why people pleasing causes such a problem in our nervous systems. The thing is that this isn't going to be all about, hey, how do we breathe our way out of this? Or, hey, how do we do this hack to get out of this? Maybe my morning routine can fix this. All of that stuff works when you're consistent, but I know you're probably like me, and staying consistent with a routine isn't going to be the way to get you out of here. That's why what we're going to talk about is actual tools, actual things that changed my life, mindset shifts I had to make and constantly practice to be able to get out of here. Because now I'm not scared to drive on the highway. That was one thing I was scared of, because what happened if a panic attack happened on the highway? I'm going 80 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour, and I can't breathe. What happened if I was in the middle of something and I couldn't leave it? In the middle of an exam with a patient, in the middle of a report with a patient, I can't just walk out of that. I have to be there for the patient. And so I learned real life tools, real life tips and things that we can do. And one of them was setting very clear boundaries with myself and making sure that I am my priority, because then when I'm my priority, I can prioritize everybody else after. But for years, I was taking care of everybody else, making sure everybody else was happy, making sure that everybody else was proud of me. But I wasn't proud of myself. And that's where the anxiety came from. I changed it for myself. I want to change it for you. I want you to understand that living with anxiety, living in this people-pleasing cycle, it doesn't work. I heard somebody say the other day that we have kind of two options with things. The first option is we can take care of ourselves and not worry about it because we're taking care of ourselves consistently. Or you can be the high achiever like me who pushes to the very last second until they're about to fall apart and break. Most of us choose that option. Most of us push until we can't handle it anymore, and then something has to give and something has to shift and change. I challenge you to not do that. I challenge you to listen to tiny little signs that we'll talk about, tiny little things that you can do, and realize that you're on the path to something that isn't ideal for your health, and change it. Because guess what? It's way easier to change something way before the panic disorder sets in. It's easier to change your nervous system when you feel just a little off. But when you're completely tanked and exhausted, having panic attacks and trying to people please your way through life, you're not going to to have the easiest time. I played the victim in my story for a long time. You probably play the victim in your story too. You probably tell yourself, oh, I couldn't do that. It seems too hard. I can't achieve that. I couldn't have this body. I couldn't look like that. I couldn't feel like that. And guess what? If you believe it, you're right. Anything you believe is right, because whatever you believe in your mind is your truth. So we got to shift your truth. When you shift your truth to believe that you can heal, you can feel good, you can have whatever you want, things start to change for you. So if you're tired of feeling guilty when you want to say no to something, but you feel like you have to say yes, if you're tired of overcommitting, people-pleasing, and overworking, then subscribe down below and leave a comment. Let me know which pattern you feel like you're stuck in. Is it feeling guilty for saying no? Do you feel like you're overcommitting to things that you don't actually care about? Or do you feel just tired?